We are back with another fun-filled episode of the Main Street Randyland YouTube channel. Hooray! And we're kind of over here right now at the Retro Arcade and Fascination. The actual name is Tributes and Traditions, and we are open right now on a Sunday afternoon. And it's off season, so there's just a few people roaming around playing a few games. So we got a little noise in the background, and there's a couple of people playing Fascination. So when the bell rings, I'll have to announce my winners. But it's a good opportunity to show you a few things that are in the arcade while we're open in between games. And, you know, I have to start here because before I opened today, I had to go visit a local man in town because he gave me something because he was helping my cause for the preservation of retro games. And he happened to have in his basement garage, which is ground level here in Wildwood, there are no real basements or anything, he had a baseball machine because he collects baseball memorabilia. I didn't know this about the man. He comes in here and he plays Fascination all the time, really nice guy, but he collects all kinds of baseball memorabilia and all kinds of bobbleheads. And, oh, wait, we got a winner. Winner down yonder's got the game on the diagonal line. Isn't that pretty good? I know you'd like that. All right, I'll be right there with your win, and we're gonna try a new one at the bell. Ready? Here we go, let's roll again. So I went over to his house to pick this thing up, and he had a baseball machine there. His name is Murph. Hey, Murph. So he gave me something from a baseball machine that he had an extra part for. Where he picked it up, I don't know, but he knew that I would be the type of person that could use this. And he's right, because I know somewhere in the Randy archives, there are some baseball machines that I have yet to restore, and there could very well be something that I need from the units that he gave me. So thanks, Murph. But that brings to mind the baseball machines. So we're over here at the Retro Arcade, and we only have two of the baseball machine types running here in the arcade currently, simply because of space. I must have, oh, wait a minute, winner, winner, winner. They got it again down there, the up and down line. That's two I owe you. All right, we'll try a new one at the bell. If you're all ready, here we go. How many baseball machines do I have? Well, you know, I got to think about that. I must have 5 or more that were from Disney from the Penny Arcade, and I've got, I'd say, a good dozen or so of other type of models, and they made all different models of things. You're trying to get 5 lights to light up in a straight line. The first one that lights the line becomes the winner automatically. People say, where do you get these wonderful bat and pitch games? And you know what? They're very, very collectible. A lot of people like to have them. They didn't make a ton of them, but they made many models over the years. Gosh, somebody asked me, how many models did they make? I don't know, but they made quite a few. Williams was, in my opinion, the premier manufacturer for the baseball games because they had a very special unit, which was called the Running Man unit, which we'll show you in a minute, which the men actually run around on the playfield. Chicago Coins, they made one also. This is a Williams, this is a Chicago Coins. Now, if you look in the Williams, you see you actually have a playfield with little men up there. Now, they are stationary men, they don't move, but there are runners who will run around the bases on the Williams Running Man unit. But the Chicago Coins did not have that. They did not have the patent for it either. Williams patented that. So Chicago Coins came out with something different where the men will run in lights going around on the unit. It's not the same effect as seeing the little man actually run, but it's pretty neat the way they did that. Trick of the game, keep them rolling, but roll them easy. That's the secret. Here we go. He's good. He's not fine. Yeah, roll easy. Roll easy, otherwise he'll bounce back at you. Now on the Chicago Coins, works the same way with your pitch bat button and your bat button. So all you have to do is pitch the ball. See how the ball goes through? Pitch the ball. But just like in baseball, you get one swing per pitch. So when I push the button, I'll bat. Now, did you see my man ran around there? I must have a bulb out. He should be on second place there. So we'll hit him again. There we go. Now I got a man on third. I got the run came in, man on third. Now on this particular model, okay, I'm on second again. On this particular model, it gives you scoring that is a little bit different. Uh-oh, my balls are stuck here. On this model, you have to have your balls known where they are on the machine. If they get stuck, you cannot play. So we'll start it up again because I tilted it by shaking that. All right. right, so when you pitch the ball, you bat the ball, that's an out because I missed the target. And we'll pitch and get again. Look at that, I missed the targets again. On this model, there's no target for out. If you go between a target, that's an out. So there's actually a lot of ways to get an out on this machine because you don't look at it. You look at the machine, you see single, triple, double, homer, double, triple, single. You see there are no outs, but you don't realize that a missed target registers one out. So going between any of those targets is an out. So it's pretty easy to get an out on this machine. Look at that one, that was a good one. That was a home runner. Now this machine gives you bonus points. Bonus points when you get certain targets and certain hits because they light up different specials, and that's why you don't just get one for a run. You can get multiple wins. It's very strong with the bat. It's got a good hit to it, a lot of power, really fun game to play. On this one, it actually has an unusual feature where you can erase outs by hitting certain combinations that it lights up to tell you to do. So if I were to spell out big or league with the lettering that how it tells you to light up for a certain letter, I could actually go from 2 outs to 1 out, or from 1 out to no outs, and that way I get an extended play on it. So, and also it has a first team standing and a second team standing for first player, second player, and you can actually win free games by raising your standing. Now, Genco made some baseball machines, believe it or not, back in the day, nice baseball machines with that coffin style cabinet. But I think my personal favorite is the Williams because of that running man unit that is so special. And this is a Williams, it's a bat and pitch. And we're gonna start them up and you will see how much interesting fun this can be. We have the same thing with the buttons. Now this model happens to have several ways of pitching. You have a fast, a slow, a curve, and a knuckleball. So you can actually have somebody over here trying to fake you out and somebody else on the other side hitting the bat button. Interestingly enough, this is not the original button. This machine, you see that cut of wood there. Now I didn't do this. This was before I got the machine. This had a rod that came up in the shape of a metal bat. So when you would bat, you would hit the bat sideways and that would, energize the bat. The problem with that was that you'd get people who would slam the bat, because they think somehow or another the harder they hit that, the harder it's going to hit the ball. But that's not the case at all. Got another winner. Winner's down on the end. You won twice now. So they replaced it because somebody must have broken it off and they put a button, but that's all you need because all it's doing is electrically making the connection. And you don't have to slam the button, because all you have to do is press it. You're making contact electrically. So when I push the button to pitch, oh, now you see that? I got an out, first shot. This one has out targets. You can't go between these targets too easily. It's possible, but not too easily. So you have single, out, double, triple, double, out, single, and up the ramp in the middle is a home run. And actually hiding in there, and it looks like it's flopped up. Somebody must have hit it really, really hard. That's a target. That would be for a grand slam, but somebody hit it so hard that it's in a stuck up position. So I guess anybody who gets that ball in there for a home run is going to get credited as a grand slam home run because the target is in stuck position. Let's push the button. And we got it again. Now I got a single. Did you see the man just run up there? He ran over to the single base. Now let's see if I can get something good again. Look at that. My single man came in because I hit a triple, and my new man ran over to the triple spot. Third base. Here's a double. Look at that. I only got 1 out. I'm going to hit a slow ball now, see if I can really hit that. Look at that. Oh! Into the single again. Here's another one. Look at that. Oh, another double. Don't you love those bells? Oh, I almost had that home run. Did you see that? Look at that. Oh, that's second out. Second out. We don't want 3 outs. Another double. Another double. Oh, 3 outs. My game is over, son of a gun. I got 3 outs. Many of the baseball games were not made in multiple player games. This is a 2-player game, so you could play doubles if you wanted to and didn't want to play individual things here. Oh, got another winner. Winner's down on the end there with that diagonal line. She beat you out on that one. That's pretty good. Now, I love these old Williams coin doors. This is like a 1965, 66 coin door, and they only made this about a year or so, and it's what's called a 3-in-1. Now, this coin mechanism can actually take nickels, dimes, or quarters, and they did that so you could play at that time. If your operator wanted to run it for a nickel, you could get 1 game for a nickel, 2 games for a dime, and 5 games for a quarter. But it also had the ability to run for a dime, so you would need 2 nickels for a play, 1 dime for a play, and you got 3 games for a quarter. What was bad about these coin mechanisms was the coin throat, because you put the coin in like this, but it has to turn the coin so that it is actually going horizontally for the way the coin mechanism is mounted. So the coins would oftentimes not quite make it through that turn, and they would get stuck there, and then the next one would come by and get stuck. Next thing you know, you have a jam. Then you have a special coin mechanism that can actually accept multiple types of coins. Typically today, you would see this type of coin mechanism only in a vending machine. But back then, they tried to do it on the pinball machines so that people would spend more money and encourage them to spend whatever coins they had. But this didn't last very long. They went into the single coin mechanisms relatively shortly afterwards. I got another one here. And this one, it looks like, also takes $50, so this is not original from this machine. So it has an extra spot in the back here that would go along with that. So that's why I'm not using that one. I love the slide bar, so we can take it out. They always have a short wire, but I extended the wire so that I could actually put this on the side, because I really hate having to reach in there and find where it's connected, so I extended the wires a little bit. Now the glass is always tight getting these glasses out. And we'll just put it over here. Now, what's interesting about this is a lot of times when you lift these play fields, you can lose these balls. The balls will fly out and go rolling into the back and underneath one of the boards, so it can be a real pain in the neck. So I like to start a game. They have more than 1 ball. This one has 3 so far. Oh, looks like only 3 in there. Usually there's a bit more than 3, but you never know. So now they're not going to go flying. And inside we are. Interestingly enough, this machine does not have a lot of mechanisms under the play field. Isn't that wild? It's actually pretty bare because there's not a lot going on the play field. Here's your pitching unit, pitching the ball. Here's your batting unit to swing that bat. A few controls on the side, which are running the mechanisms for the pitching and the batting. When you pitch the ball, you'll see the pitching unit going around, bringing the ball from the bottom well up to and swinging it out the top. Isn't that neat? Now this one has an extra slider here, which in this instance seems to be disconnected because it's just going with a complete swat. When they did this, it had a spring on it to give it an extra fling, but they were really a pain in the neck, so a lot of times they became disconnected. This is actually a lock unit that would stop here at a stopper to keep it from going further, but it wasn't necessary because it's not going to go there. See, it is stopping a little bit. On the side, you have your cams, which tell the unit where it is. So when you would push the button to start the motor, it would return back to its home position again to know where it's stopping. It would also energize permission to hit the bat. You only get 1 swing per pitch in baseball, so you get 1 swing per pitch. So when that motor goes around, it will energize a control that will then tell the bat it's okay. When I push the bat button, you'll see the bat move. Just gives 1 swing. Bat has a switch underneath here, which actually tells the unit that it has made its move. You see that going over? It hits the switch, and it will tell the controls, turn the bat off. Very special reason. This coil, which I rewound that coil. If you see that coil, it's a little overstuffed, all right? That coil was rewound by me because I must have had a burnt out coil. Now they still make coils, but coils come in different sizes, different ohms for the ratings and the voltage that they're using. So to get a coil that's specifically for that bat would be an H23 870. Well, I don't have one. So when my bat coil burned out, I had to unwind all the horrible burnt out wires, and I had to use magnetic wire of the right thickness and gauge and wind it a certain amount of winds around the cylinder in order to make a new coil in order to function this machine. And it's been working flawlessly for the last number of years, and there's no sign of burn whatsoever. And that's thanks to this switch. These contacts can easily break off because it's getting hit. If one of those contacts breaks off, it will not tell the control that it has pulled itself in, and it will lock on. And you don't have very long before this will burn and burn some of those windings. There is a fuse right here which will stop the current if that goes through. But that fuse is not going to blow before you've already damaged that coil. So it might blow before you've destroyed the coil, but it will not blow before you've damaged it. So it will start blowing sooner, and the coil will die a lot sooner once you damage that coil. Then you'll be rewinding it again, wind and wind and wind. Who rewinds their own coils? I do. Now, here we have an interesting rheostat, and this will control the strength to decrease or increase the bat power. So all it's doing is putting more resistance in the line so that this coil doesn't get hit as hard as it could. And as you see, I am below the halfway mark. Now, most games that you'll pull the hood up on, and you'll see it if their rheostat still works, you will see that their bat coil is all the way up, because their bat coils are wearing out and they cannot go as hard as they need to go. Our new winners over there with that cross-the-board win beat out their own red line. So because my coil is in good condition, I can be below half. Now, if I turn that up too high, I can actually break my bat. I can break my targets because the ball simply being hit too hard. But what's a nice feature on this game is you have two magnets built into the playfield here. That's what these cutouts are that are up into the playfield, and those are electromagnets. And they will activate depending upon sequence of the buttons that you press on selecting fast, slow, curveball, or a knuckleball. So the fast or the slow will be energized by actually putting a drag on the motor, but to make the ball swivel one way or another, for a curve, it'll pull it to the side, a knuckleball, pull it over and enter. It's all done through magnets under the playfield. So it really looks interesting the way you play it. People don't realize what's going on. They think that the pitch machine did it, but it's the magnets pulling the ball this way, that way. The heart of a lot of old electromechanical games is the score control unit. Now, this score control unit is a series of cams which will operate sequences for different controls through the relays and the control circuits through the game. It's all a matter of timed circuitry. This is a bank unit. Now, bank units are more old-fashioned because they typically were difficult to service. In addition to that, they are subject to things going wrong. There's a big coil down here. See that coil? That's a 115 volt coil, and that coil pulls in to lift all these back up into position. Has to be pretty strong. So again, it can only hit it so hard. But when these relays drop, and it's all mechanical, so they move to engage the switches, a lot of times contacts can break. And you can see over here, one of the contacts actually did break, and in order to keep it alive, I soldered the contact back together again because I was able to catch enough of it at the base. If that had broken off a little further up, it would have been a much harder repair. I would have had to replace the entire leaf switch, but I was able to save it by a little bit of solder. We have a few extra wires here which are controlling the circuits because of coinage, because I'm running this game on 50 cents instead of a quarter, so the circuits that I put in here are controlling that system. Now, as we run the game again, my favorite is the way the controls run for the circuitry. If we can see it here, I believe this would be this would be the start. You see that? That was a single, and we went across. Now this one might be inter. All right, there we go for double. It goes in series up the line. See that? If you watch the running man unit up top, I should be able to make, that's a single. They just advance by one. If I hit a double, the man goes to second base. Oh, that was a triple. I'm sorry. This would be the double. He's over to second there. Give me another double. Here's a triple. Here's a home run. Bring all the men in. And that's all because of the famous Williams running man unit. Well, how do they do that? The way those men pop up there? Well, it'd be really difficult for me to pull this machine out and have to take that apart and pull the running man unit out and show you all that. But I happen to have that running man unit that Murph gave me today. He's over here. Here we have a Williams running man unit. Now, it's not from this type model machine, but it's the same mechanism. The one inside this machine obviously doesn't have these service plates here. These guys are only cardboard, and they have a little bit of a metal backing stuck into the wood that's holding them up. Very simple design, but the whole thing is cut just so, with a fall-out hole here and a pop-up hole there. Now, underneath the machine, here's your man. Now, your men actually run around the bases underneath. You don't see them, but they're there. They're like little ghosts. They're running around anyway. But when you get a man who's going up, what happens is this solenoid in here, if I can do it without my big fingers in the way, will pull in, and when the motor turns, it will flop him up. So now he's up on the position, and he'll move over to his base, okay, and he'll stop because the cam followers will tell it to stop at that position. So we'll put another man up by energizing, and the motor will turn. He'll pop another guy into the up position. If I can do it, it's a little difficult for my hands. There we go. This guy's a little bent. There he goes. Now he's on first. We have first and second. So let's turn the motor again and not put anybody up this time. We still have two men up, but now he's on second and third. Let's make one more guy come up. We'll turn the motor. Up he goes. Now we're on first and third. But the other guy came back into home. Did you see him come down? You were a little high. Watch my next guy come down to home as we run one more. Watch him come down here. Down he comes. So it's a home run. Now the machine knows that that's a run because as this guy passed home, he simply moved this wire underneath. As you approach home, he hit this switch, which energizes this leaf switch stack to tell the unit they made it home. All the different units, first, second, third, have a spot. There's a leaf switch in there for first, one for second over there, and there's one again for third. You have your control mechanism relays back here, which are energizing when they're in different positions, and you're going back into home. There's a motor relay here that's controlling your motor circuits, and that's going through your cam switches here. Now, these multi-product motors are great. They really are. They're the heart of all these old mechanical games because they have a little clutch wheel that will fall back out of position so I can turn this without breaking that. These are for regular light bulbs. They put their light bulb in there, and that would illuminate the play field below because this is sitting above the play field. The back is just a printed piece of cardboard, which somebody pulled the unit out by the back, and instead of using their hands onto the wood, they must have pulled here and they broke the cardboard. So this would have been there, and they ripped that out. So that's going to have to be replaced if I ever try to use this. Here you have a connecting plug. Right here, where all your wires come down, and a plug end goes into there, which then connects to the machine itself. This white stuff here is just your general garbage, foam rubber, and mold. Isn't mold nice? Yeah. Spiders, isn't that nice? Nice spider webs. They love the warmth of the inside machine. But this Williams Running Man unit is the heart of all the Williams running base machines. They're really, really great. And they were so great, as a matter of fact, that they were replicated. These exact units were copied, and they appeared again decades later in Coin Concepts Home Run Hitter. I had to think about the name. It was called Home Run Hitter. And it was the same idea as the bat and pitch game. And it was actually designed by a friend of mine by the name of Steve Lindsay. Hi, Steve. Well, Steve had the concept of the old baseball machines, and he turned it into a modern unit for coin rolling machines that came out probably, I'm going to say probably the late 90s. I'm guessing on that one, but it's certainly after the 50s and the 60s by a lot of years. Now, as we showed you and demonstrated on the bat and pitch games, for your coins, you're playing till you got 3 outs. So you keep pitching and batting, single, double, triple. How many times you're going to pitch and bat until somebody gets 3 outs? But on the Coin Concepts home run hitter, there is no pitch unit. There are no balls. How does it work? You roll coins down the playfield into holes that say single, double, triple, or home run. Each coin that you put in is the ball. So there is no ball that's coming up to you. You're rolling quarters, quarter after quarter after quarter. And it was a ticket-based game, so if you got a home run, you got a couple tickets or a couple more runs or a single. However it was set with the options, the operator would set it, you would get tickets. So instead of playing a game for fun and seeing how many times you can get runs, you're rolling quarters down, one after another. Think of the difference here. The machine that we play for fun in the Retro Arcade, you're getting a lot of fun for your quarter or your 50 cents playing and playing and playing. But on the more modern games, you actually rolled quarter after quarter after quarter into the machine, and you could spend $10, no problem. I can pitch and bat 40 times on that game for a coin? Absolutely. 40 quarters down the machine. And you know what? That was 30 years ago. Today, they'd probably be running with dollar coins, running the dollar coins down there. So, what's more fun for the operator? Not the game where you're playing and having fun, the game where you're rolling your coins down there and trying to get tickets. And that's what's happened to the industry. You've taken away the fun from playing the games, and you've turned it into now, I want those tickets. So you're playing the game not for the same reason anymore. Sure, we played to win a free game or get a high score, but it wasn't the whole idea. The idea was you were playing fun to play the game. Now, I will admit, the Coin Concept home run hitter still had an element of fun because you were rolling down to get the same scores as you were on the bat and pitch games. But the concept had changed to now it was all about getting those tickets and getting your score to get those tickets. So now, after I've explained to you the philosophy of the bat and pitch game and the evolution thereof, we got to put it back together again, which is always a challenge if you forget the important thing. The balls are in my pocket. You know how many times you put this together and you forget the balls are in the pocket? Or worse yet, you forget to take the balls out. If I forget to take the balls out and a pitcher's one, they're falling down there, they're going down there, they're going underneath this board, and guess what? I'll spend the next half an hour trying to get those balls. So, put your balls in. Get your glass. Now you see that piece of tape on the end? I know why it's there. Do you? Well, that piece is there because this wood has started to warp over here and it's difficult to get it in. When I go over there, it's going to hit. So I sometimes have to actually pull it up to get it in, but this time I slid it in by using that little piece of tape that kept my glass from breaking. And my extra long wire, so I don't have to remove that plug, make sure it's down the hole, put it back in position, lock your bar, close your door, if your key will still work, and you're ready to roll. Look at that. There's a double. There's a triple. Another double. An out. Ooh. Another out. That's 2 outs. 3 outs in a row. And that was perfectly done on purpose because we were trying to come to the end of the video. Did you enjoy it? I hope you learned something about bat and pitch games and the philosophy of why we played games when we did and we had fun as compared to playing the games today where you're just there playing the game for prizes. It's a big difference. Always play the games because you want to have fun. You can have fun playing for prizes, but when it starts getting serious and you're dropping a lot of money in there, it's not fun anymore, right? We'll see you next time. The Main Street Randyland YouTube channel. Bye, guys. All right, she got that one. That's pretty good. Who won the game before that? Let me guess.
Yeah.